Hi, everybody. Happy Monday once again. Today we are talking about games that we could play with our dogs instead of petting them. This is for dogs that either can't yet touch, but you still really want to interact with them and potentially, move in the direction of getting to pet them eventually. Or if you've got a dog who you can, sometimes pet, but they're kind of they don't love it all the time. And so you'd like to find other ways to interact with them that you both enjoy that don't involve petting. All right, so if your dog doesn't like petting at all or sometimes, what can we do instead? What are some fun games to play with our dogs? This is for you if your dog is uncomfortable being touched at all or is very selective about when they want to be touched or petted. And like I said, you want to be able to interact with your dog. There's nothing, more fun and rewarding than doing something with your dog that you can clearly see they enjoy and you also enjoy. And most of us really do want to snuggle and pet our dogs. And when they enjoy that, that's just so wonderful. But often they don't. And so what else can we do? Okay, so I'm just going to quickly list 3 games that are fun to play with your dog and are kind of low pressure, in terms of trying to touch them. You're not going to be trying to touch them. And then I'll show some video examples. The first game that I really like is an object target with an object on the ground. And by object target, I just mean your dog is touching or booping the item with their nose. There's so many variations you can play with this kind of game. You can have an object right next to you. You can put the object far away so the dog runs to touch it and then runs back to you for a treat. You could even probably do multiple objects and having them run between several objects and touching several objects before getting a treat. You can do it with just toys, or you can do it with sort of more practical items. If you've been with us for a while, you may have seen videos of me having my dogs nose target things that are like grooming implements or a harness or a leash when I'm training a dog to be comfortable with those things. But it doesn't have to be. It can just be a toy. All right. Petting alternative game number 2 is touching an object in your hand. This is something a lot of dogs are uncomfortable if you're kind of wielding an object in their general direction. So this can be a good game to play. You play it with something really non-threatening that your dog already likes to start out with. If your dog is a little bit not always 100% comfortable with hands, this kind of game, if they're ready for it, can start to change their behavior around your hands, which could get you closer to petting eventually if they're not currently allowing you to pet them or not very often. So target object in your hand, and that object can be literally anything. In the video example I'll show you in a second, I'm using a toy, something my dog already likes, and that's a nice place to start. You can always work up to neutral objects or even eventually objects your dog doesn't love, but you would like them to be more comfortable around. But I'd start with something easy. All right, and hand touch is petting alternative game number 3. And this is a nice, positive way for dogs to interact with your hands without you trying to, you're not going to move your hand toward them or wiggle your fingers or try to scritch their face or reach toward them. So it's kind of a predictable, sort of safe way for them to interact with your hands, which can then get them more comfortable with your hands and facilitate later sort of increased comfort with petting, if that's what you're going for. But also just a lot of dogs love hand touch or seem to love hand touch, and people seem to really enjoy it as well. All right, let's take a look at the quick video examples I can explain in case you aren't familiar with what these games are. All right, here we go. This is the object boop. And here I am using a toy that Pancake already manipulates with his nose. I wanted to start with something where I knew I'm probably going to get the behavior I'm looking for right away. And it's usually easiest to start with the object close to you, unless, of course, your dog is afraid to be close to you. But otherwise, you'll see me placing it close to me. And then for a lot of dogs in the beginning, I like to remove the object between repetitions so I can represent it for the next rep. Otherwise, I just find a lot of dogs sometimes, if there's no change in the picture, after they've booped the object once, they just kind of stare at you blankly. So He's going to boop it. I said yes. I put a treat over there. I pick up the Bobble-Lot. I'm going to put it back down. He's going to boop it. Yes, treat. And here's a variation where I'm having him kind of run several steps to the toy and then run back for the treat. So if you're looking, you can incorporate more activity or more physical activity into that game. All right, here is booping the object in hand. I have Juno's Wubba in my hand, which is a stuffed toy. She touches it. I toss a treat. A little bit to get her to move so she can come back and boop the thing again. It's a fun game for her. You don't have to toss the treat so far away, but she tends to crowd me if there are treats around. And finally, hand touch. So here I'm showing the very first step of the way I normally teach hand touch, which is with a treat pinned below my thumb in my palm, and then I move on to the empty palm. And you can see all I'm asking my dog to do is touch my palm with their nose. That was sitting. You can graduate to, or even start with by standing up like this. Depends on your dog and how comfortable they are. So those are 3 fun, easy games you can play with your dog that are very engaging for both of you. And I think can kind of reduce the temptation of trying to pet them as a way of interacting if they don't like it, and may move you closer to them being more comfortable with being petted because you're building positive associations with your hands. All right, so again, those 3 petting alternative games are object target on the floor, object target in your hand, so the object's in your hand, and targeting your actual hand. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed these suggestions, and if you do try them out and you like them, or there's something else you really love, I'd love to hear from you. You can comment below this video or shoot us an email. If you would like these training tips delivered to your email inbox each week, all you have to do is go to this link, dogkindtraining.com/newsletter, put your info in, it'll sign you up so that you get weekly links to our free content and also alerts about any sort of special deals or sales going on or new services or workshops coming up. All right, everyone, have a lovely week